Lightning 100 Nashville's independent radio. And I don't know, I feel like that Johnny Cash kid, he might do okay. You know it? It's Cry, Cry, Cry. And it's Casey hanging out here again, just like we do every afternoon, thanks to Punk Walk. But I'm not here alone. I have a guest. I have somebody been up here several times, is playing a show right across our parking lot Friday at Marathon Music Works, part of the Sober Sessions. It's Ron Pope. Hello, Ron Pope.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. Carving a little time out of your day. I do appreciate that.
Well, I stopped over at Little Hats on the way. I got myself, I had rehearsals today, so I went,
Okay.
I got a sandwich. It's
All
like
right.
a very, very Nashville afternoon. I found out that the barista parlor over there in Germantown is no longer open.
It is no more.
That is the thing I learned today.
Well,
I
there
knew
you
that
go.
they closed some of them. I didn't know they closed that one. So that's what I did today.
Yeah,
And
it's
now I'm
just
here.
Another one of those lessons Nashville's going to teach you the hard way.
They're
you
going to
know?
keep closing stuff and opening either taco places or now bagel spots. We're doing bagels in East Nashville. We're doing bagel spots.
Okay.
We got 3 all at once. There were like no bagels for 10 years, and then all of a sudden they opened 3 bagel places in like 2 months.
Something tipped, and now you got too many bagels.
You can never have too many bagels, I'd argue.
Now, you've said that very loudly, so the universe is probably going to test you the way it sounds. You're probably just going to keep getting more and more bagels, and it's going to become like a Twilight Zone episode. Just a bunch of people walking around with bagels everywhere.
I'm going to accept bagels until we get to that point, though.
Okay.
Like, until we get to the point where I'm like, oh, like with the tacos, where I'm like,
Right.
another one?
Because your love of bagels should never become like a public safety hazard.
I agree with you.
Yeah, if
we
I've-
don't want to endanger anyone.
If I've said it once, I've said it at least that one time.
That's true.
You know? So I know you're playing Friday at Marathon Music Works, but you're here right now. Could we get you to play a song for us?
Absolutely. So we're playing this show as part of Sober Sessions, which is an event where they don't serve alcohol. That's kind of one of the central things.
Yeah.
And so my friend Bonnie Stewart brought these folks to me, and I think it might have something to do with this song. I wrote this song about the opioid crisis. It's called I Gotta Change or I'm Gonna Die.
Okay.
So I thought that I would play that since that maybe is what brought me to do this show in the first place.
All right.
Pain pills started for a backache. Doctor dropped me like a lead weight. Now I cop off the interstate, about 15 miles from here. Not the type you would expect. Work harder than the son of a bitch. Trying to raise up these 3 kids, keep them clothed and fed. Now what's a man worth if he can't work? Was I really made as a rich man's hammer? Is this all there'll ever be for me? I gotta change or I'm gonna die. I wanna live, so I'm gonna try. Give it my best, this ain't a test I plan to fail. Where I come from, they'll break a man. What I got now, I built with these hands. I'm not afraid to get a little dirt beneath my nails. This ain't a test I plan to fail. Oxys beat me like I owed them money. Still on my feet and I feel like running. Maybe somewhere it's always summer and leave these cares behind. But I got folks who depend on me. I rise in the dark cause I still believe there's something good I just can't see yet up around the bend. Now I gotta change or I'm gonna die. I wanna live, so I'm gonna try. Give it my best, this ain't a test I plan to fail. Where I come from, they'll break a man. What I got now, I built with these hands. I'm not afraid to get a little dirt beneath my nails. This ain't a test I plan to fail. I used to never take an Advil, but if I don't earn, we don't pay bills. Inside I'm screaming like an anvil. when iron and hammer meet. I gotta change or I'm gonna die. I wanna live, so I'm gonna try. Give it my best. This ain't a test I plan to fail. Where I come from, they'll break a man. What I got now, I built with these hands. I'm not afraid to get a little dirt beneath my nails. This ain't a test I plan to fail. Lord, this ain't a test I plan to fail.
That is Ron Pope here on Lightning 100. Going to be a part of the Sober Sessions coming up on Friday. Tell us the name of that song again.
That is called I Gotta Change or I'm Gonna Die.
Pretty straightforward. You can't really confuse that, you know? Man, Sober Sessions coming up Friday over at Marathon Music, where you got Ron Pope, King Lazy Eye, Ian Flanagan. That's some pretty talented people there in one evening. You know it?
I'm going to do my best to not embarrass myself because both of those guys are wonderful. I'm so excited. I put together my hot band. I got the band back together for this one.
Shout your band out. Who are they?
We've got Matt Sibilia playing drums, Zach Berkman playing bass, Emily Verscore-Curse playing keyboards and accordion, and Libby Whitnauer playing fiddle. Whitenauer, she's new, and she told me how to say her last name. Whitenauer, Libby. We're gonna ask Libby when we're not on the radio how to say her last name.
It's like I'm a local, and sometimes the Whitaker versus Whiteacre, and if it's supposed to be Whiteacre and you say Whitaker, that doesn't get over at all. People don't like that.
I'm doing my best. Demon
Sure, Demumbrian.
Demon. But not demon. No, we're not brewing anything.
Oh no! See, I always thought, and again, kind of growing up around here, I always thought it was funny to call it demon brewing, and then I realized that's a thing that people were actually doing. And well, you know, I gotta give them the cold shoulder because I'm a local. You know, Ron Pope here hanging out with us, and the show coming up Friday. It's part of the Sober Sessions. And it's billed as a completely sober concert experience. And it's one of those things when you hear about it, like it's pretty novel, and then you think, well, I can't believe more people aren't kind of doing this really, you know?
When you think about shows, whether you're in a club with 150 people or you're in a football stadium with 100,000 people, at the center of the thing, there are alcohol sales. Like that's how the places make a lot of their money. And one of the things that I've always really loved about live music, both as a consumer and as an artist, is the community aspect. And when they brought this to me, I got to thinking about how for so many people, if you're uncomfortable in a space where they're serving alcohol, like if it doesn't make sense for where you are in your life, you miss out on that community element of live music. So I just think this is such an ingenious idea on their part to put people in a position where they can come and be a part of this community and, you know, get to be at a live show. I think like so much of the world, there's division thrown at us at every turn, and a live concert is a place where you're brought together with like-minded people who want to experience the same thing. And maybe you disagree on every other thing in the world, but you agree that you want to stand in that room and hear that music.
This band is pretty cool.
And that's something you don't want anybody to miss out on. So I feel really honored and excited to get to participate in this because I have never done anything like it before.
That is so cool. And again, I would imagine, I mean, this becomes a really good, and I don't want to use the expression low stress, but I mean, I imagine it kind of takes some of the pressure off if people are kind of working their way through recovery to be able to go and just, like you said, just do this and not have that hanging over them, you know?
Yeah, it's like one less thing to manage. And I mean, I also think just for anyone, like you don't have to be in recovery to enjoy this evening. I think it's also like the fact that this is not like infantilizing anybody. It's like it's a real show. It's at night.
Yeah.
This isn't like we're doing it at lunchtime for a special group of people. This is for everyone. You can come and enjoy this evening. We're all going to put on a great big show, and it's going to be a wonderful night. And so I think it's just like a fun additional, like a really cool additional element of this that for people who are in recovery, this is a safe space for that. I love that part, but it's for everybody. Like everybody can come to this, and I think that's another part that's cool.
And you know that, I mean, going into it, this is a show that is not going to degrade into amateur hour, frankly. You know.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
Well, I mean, in the way that a lot of shows can degrade into amateur hour with people and how they behave. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I feel excited. I mean, first of all, this is such an incredible venue. Like Marathon is such. I've seen so many great shows there, and so I'm stoked. To get to play there at all. It's exciting. And then we're doing something special. I think this is like a pretty unique evening.
Yeah.
That feels like something.
And this evening that we're talking about with Ron Pope here on Lightning 100, it's Friday over at Marathon Music Works, playing the Sober Sessions. It's Ron Pope, King Lazy Eye, Ian Flanagan. I believe there's still some tickets available, but don't forget, Marathon Music Works, top to bottom, is a cashless venue right there on the website. So just kind of keep that in mind as you plan your evening. Now, you were playing somewhere pretty cool just a few days ago, weren't you?
At first, I thought, where was I? And then I remembered that I was on Kayamo.
There you go.
So if you are unfamiliar with this, Kayamo is a festival that is on a cruise ship.
Right.
And so it was really neat. I mean, much in the same way that dropping into this Sober Sessions, like it has dropped me into a particular community that already existed. Mm-hmm. That's sort of what it felt like on this ship. Like many of the people that were on the cruise had been there many, many times before. I met a lady who it was her 18th cruise of Kayamo specifically.
Her 18th. There are quite a few people, and I think they're sort of well organized, that are sort of like deadheads when it comes to that cruise.
Oh yeah,
just love it. Yeah.
And that part was really neat. You know, interacting with the fans who it's like their community and exists all the time. But also I got to hang out with all sorts of different musicians, like some people that I know already, but that I never get to see. Like my friend Sean Richardson, who's an incredible guitar player, who played on my most recent album and an album I produced for J.M. Clifford in the last year, and some other things I've produced, but I never get to see him except for when we're working, because we're always working.
Right.
And so on that, he's playing with Sierra Hull, and Sierra was on the boat, and so on that trip, we got to hang out, we got to even got to play together.
Cool.
And I, there were so many people like that, like Sierra Hull, for instance, who I've spent time with here and there, Reese Palmer, people I know, but that I don't get to hang out with because we're always, doing stuff. And so it was neat to be there with all of these folks who I otherwise would never get to visit with, basically. It was sort of like summer camp for musicians, and everybody was sitting in with each other. And there were also like kind of random things that you would never get to do. Like Ken Pomeroy was on the boat, and she brought her sister and some of her friends too. Yeah. And so these guys and gals all traveling together, that like, when would I meet her sister? Never at all. And I love Ken's music. And so I was there to watched her play a number of times, but then I met her friends, I met her sister, we all got to chatting. And I think that's another part of it that was really, really neat. Just, you never know who you're going to bump into. There's visual artists and there's poets on the boat. There's all sorts of different people. And so from top to bottom, it was like a really, really pretty awesome experience. I got to host a Stevie Nicks tribute with Reese Palmer.
Okay.
And we put a whole bunch of wonderful people. Some of the, rad bluegrass gangs like Sister Sadie and Della Mae, they were on the boat. So they played, but also I sang some songs in Reese Palmer. It was a wide variety of folks.
That's the thing. You say, you got to do a Stevie Nicks tribute with Reese Palmer. That's probably the coolest sentence I'm going to hear anybody say all day today. You know?
It was pretty fun. And getting to host something with Reese, because she's such a consummate pro at hosting things. She's on TV and stuff. Yeah. So I was like, why do I have a microphone? She's here. Like, she's really good at this. And I was just like, can I do a bit now? You want me to tell a story?
Nice.
I had been in the ocean in the Dominican Republic the day before. We had a day off, and I've been in the ocean. I was talking to Sierra Hull in the ocean, like I was a few feet away from her, and then a wave just threw her upside down and spun her around and flipped her over. And I was like, oh, like my first thought of course is like, oh my goodness, is she okay? And then once I realized that she was okay, I was like, oh man, they're gonna like revoke my bluegrass card. Like I just I just occasionally produce some bluegrass. I'm not even a bluegrass artist, but like, they're gonna take away my opportunity. My card's gonna get they're gonna rip it up in front of me. My punch card is done. Yep. No more bluegrass. I'm not gonna be allowed to say Tony Rice.
The next time you go to the bluegrass office and think at the door's not gonna going to work. You know, it's
My
awful.
pass doesn't get me.
Your pass to Bluegrass, it's just not going to work anymore. You can't go park at Bluegrass.
I get to station in, and they're like, "Oh no, we got your picture on the wall. We know what you did."
It's a bunch of hot checks and you.
They're like, "No, absolutely not."
I love it. Oh man, we got Ron Pope here on Lightning 100. Sober Sessions, Marathon Music Work coming up on Friday. Ron along with King Lazy Eye and Ian Flanagan. And could we ask you to play one more song for us, Ron?
Yeah, let's see. So because it's kind of winter sometimes and kind of summer sometimes outside right now, it is my instruments hate this time of year the most of all. So I'm just gonna make sure my guitar is in tune. As I actually I'm stealing this. I heard Ken Pomeroy say it. We tune because we love.
Well, let's remind people one more time, Marathon Music Works, which incidentally, we can see from where we're sitting right now. Friday, doors at 6:30.
That's right. We learned that from my calendar, 6:30 doors.
That's right. And it can't, I saw him pull it off his phone, so we can probably trust that information, I feel like.
I hope so.
Let's hope. All right.
Sincerely.
Well, if not, we'll hear about it. Let's get another one right now from Ron Pope on Lightning 100.
Working girls, cursing teenaged Marines, till the TJ police came and broke up the scene. Damn the stars, they seem brighter down here. Haven't looked up in years since I left where I'm from. Remembering St. Augustine wasn't quite 23, with a bag full of secrets in a maze of concrete, and a busted lip I came by. Honestly, what will become of me? I guess we'll just wait and see. Headed south, Ensenadas again, carried slow by the wind, broke as I've ever been, buried deep. All the beauty I keep, drank tequila so cheap that they should have paid me. Then I woke up alone with my hand on the phone, and nobody to call who'd invite me back home. Was I chased all this way by my chemistry? What will become of me? I guess we'll just wait and see. Come down off the cross. Sometimes we all get lost. I'm so sick of myself, can't afford what it costs to be drowned in a sea of my memory. What will become of me? I guess we'll just wait and see.
Lightning 100. There's another one from Ron Pope here as we talk about show coming up on Friday, the Sober Sessions at Marathon Music Works. Ron Pope, King Lazy Eye, Ian Flanagan, doors at 6:30. And Ron, if we want to find merch, if we want to get music, you got really cool T-shirts, by the way.
Thank
Your shirts
you.
are very cool. If we want to find tour dates and merch and all that stuff, where can we track you down online?
I am on the internet, all the places. I'm in the internet. I am also, if you want to go to a central place, it's at ronpope.com.
It just makes sense, you know it? So, all right, man. Well, Ron, I appreciate you coming by, man, and looking forward to Friday. And we will be right back. How about some Rat Boys coming up next on Lightning 100?